You're gamblers, so you know as well as I do. When you're hot, you love to press the action because you never want to leave money on the table. And I am hot to start this college football season. I've had two plays. They've both been top rated 15 dime releases. And could they have possibly been any easier? Last Saturday, Colorado State kicking the you know what out of Oregon. And then last night, even easier, Oklahoma State destroying Tulsa. And you got those top rated 15 dime releases both as the half price play of the day, as I told you here on the video reports. Now, there are a handful of games here tonight. And as I said in yesterday's video, even though some of them have monstrous point spreads, every game is a 50-50 betting proposition, and there are a few of them that I liked, including one that I'm going to talk about in just a moment as one of today's complimentary plays, the Wisconsin-Utah State game. But it's okay to be cautious sometimes. And I have to tell you, and for those of you that are newcomers to the site, listen, the games that you see me releasing, those are the games that I'm playing. And I'm not playing any of these college football games tonight. I think the best bet, which is a smaller wager, is actually in baseball tonight on Arizona and Colorado. Yeah, I'm not playing any of these college football games tonight because it's okay to be cautious because I know that there is so much good action on Saturday's card. And what did I say yesterday? That on a big college football card on Saturday and even on an NFL card on Sunday, you concentrate the most where the odds makers concentrate the least because you're going to find those hidden gems. Not the marquee games often, the hidden gems that you're going to find tremendous value, the softest numbers, and where you can go in and strike it big. And that's what I'm looking for. I didn't find that on tonight's card. So sometimes it's okay to exhibit a little self-control and step back and say, hey, this is not where I'm stepping out. Let's go back to baseball. And hell, I just won top-rated 15-time best bets on the Red Sox and the Cubs on the run line on Tuesday and Wednesday, respectively. So it's not exactly like I'm cold in that sport, So let's talk about football here tonight in terms of complimentary plays. And as you know, again, single biggest discount of the entire season still available. Any combination of handicappers, picks, and or packages, you get 30% off your total purchase price today. I make this available, again, if you happen to miss the video the past couple of days, as a reward to those of you that have been betting baseball for the past 3 months during the dog days of summer because it's the easiest sport to make money in, and you know how valuable baseball is in terms of building up your bankroll as we head into the football season. And I reward you for your patronage and your loyalty during the dog's days of summer with this coupon. I do it at the beginning of summer. I do it right here right at the end of summer before I know the bulk of the customer base doesn't come back for that first weekend of college football. No. They're coming back next Thursday for the kickoff of the NFL season. So that's why I offer this coupon now as my reward to all of you out there. It's a Mix or Max coupon. It's good for any combination of picks and or packages. 30% off your total purchase price. You can use it to extend packages for particular handicappers as well. If you have any questions, you can always contact customer service. A couple of changes here on the site. Brad Wilton no longer with us. Sounds like he passed away, but I didn't mean to be so dramatic. But his contract expired, and I said goodbye. Jeff Benton, no longer an everyday handicapper. He has a total today, which is the 777 triple play total of the day. He's just going to be popping in and out as he didn't want to do this on a full-time basis any longer, and he'd rather just devote his energies when he sees a play he particularly loves, releasing it then. I understand it. We have a number of handicappers that have done that. He's been a charter member of the site for 13-some years. He's done this once before and been successful doing so. And I can't talk about it right now, but a guy who... I really can't talk about it, but national TV has a TV show of which is about him in a way. It's going to be making his debut here next Thursday. A big thing, and we'll talk about that more as that approaches. So another guy is going to be joining the site, and Tommy Brunson joined the site yesterday. I talked about him, and he kicked it off with Oklahoma State last night. And I'm glad, Tommy, that I gave you that winner. Okay, we move on. Let's talk about these games here tonight. So you've got Wisconsin hosting Utah State. And Wisconsin is 27.5-point favorite. And listen, Wisconsin last year just had a dominant defense. I mean, one of the top defenses. I get choked up talking about the Badgers. One of the top defenses in the entire country last season. But it was also a Wisconsin defense that was absolutely stripped in terms of graduation, and so much of that talent is now playing in the NFL. So you have to say, will Wisconsin still be that dominant defensively? Well, listen, the Badgers are going to reload, and they still have a lot of talent coming back. Um, this is a Wisconsin team that is damn good. The question I have here, though, you lose your top two tacklers, your interception leader, both your starting linebackers. They're, all gone to the NFL. But this is a team that the last 4 years has allowed an average of just 16.6 points a game. That's number 2 nationally, behind only Alabama, okay? And you got a Badgers team that has won 37 consecutive non-conference games at Camp Randall. So you're going to have 80,000 crazy Badger fans in attendance here. The problem with Wisconsin is they just don't score a lot of points. This is a team that only averaged 28.4 points a game last year, 89th in total offense, just 382 yards per game. Now, the good thing for them is that Utah State has a number of problems as well, and this is a very young team. I was reading a story that noted that the Logan, Utah Journal, which is, of course, Logan, Utah is where Utah State is located in, that 13 of Utah State's 22 first-team offensive and defensive starters here tonight will be starting their first game here tonight. That is a young, inexperienced team. Utah has another problem here tonight. Utah, 90th in the nation in stopping the run last year, allowing 203 yards a game. Well, what does Wisconsin do? Wisconsin, year after year, has that big, massive offensive line. These guys open holes, and the Badgers are just going to run the ball. They're going to pound the ball. They're going to run that thing 45 times here tonight, and with 4 offensive line starters back, they're going to plow through that small, inexperienced Utah State line. Utah State, on the other hand, has an experienced quarterback, but Utah State, their entire offensive line, which I believe I was reading has a number of former community college and JUCO starters making up that new rebuild offensive line. How's that going to perform? And it's undersized as well. Now, Utah State has a new offensive coordinator. They brought in a guy who used to be the former passing game coordinator and quarterback coach at Oregon. They want to go to a more up-tempo offense that stresses efficiency rather than the number of plays. Now, that's important. Not the quick snap count, but efficiency. Hey, that's fine and dandy when you're playing in Utah State's league, okay? That's not going to really work on the road in front of 80,000 people taking on a big, more physical Big 12, Big 10 team. And this is also a Utah State team that lost its number 2, number 3, and number 4 receivers that combined for 101 catches a year ago. This Utah State defense allowed over 26 points a game last season. They go with a 3-man front. I just think they're going to be overwhelmed defensively. Personally, I think this is going to be a game that Utah State will be lucky to score 7 to 10 points. Now, this is the problem. This is why I couldn't bet on the Badgers here. What happens if the Badgers win this game 40 to 7? Hey, you win money. What happens if the Badgers win this game 26 to 7? Ooh, you lose money. There's my problem. I think that this is going to be a game where Wisconsin's defense dominates. I just wonder if it's going to be like that Minnesota game last night, right? Minnesota, a team that also struggles offensively, scored 17 points last night at home. Now, I think Wisconsin has a little better offense, but will Wisconsin score enough to cover this big spread? I think they do. I do think this is going to be somewhere, in the 42 to 7 range, 42 to 10 range. But again, if it falls into that 35 to 7 range, we got some problems here. So I do like Wisconsin, and that's the way I'm going to go. I handicapped some of the other games here, so let me just briefly talk about them before I cough, and I'm going to turn my head because I don't want to cough in your face. Aren't I polite? Anyway, Navy is a 9.5 to 10-point favorite at Florida Atlantic. Oh, what a tough game. Listen, Florida Atlantic's defense was awful last year. Lane Kiffin can bring in all the damn transfers he wants. He can go up-tempo as much as he wants. He can bring in Art Briles' son to coordinate the offense and do all he wants offensively. And listen, Florida Atlantic's going to score some points, but the fact is the Owls aren't going to stop anybody. Navy's offense is not nearly as good as it's been in past years. They lost a lot of talent from last year's squad, starting with the quarterback, starting with their slot backs, starting with their top wide receivers, starting with losing 3 offensive linemen from last year's team. But what does Navy have going for you? It's the system. It's the system, and that's what makes these service academy teams so predictable and so proficient offensively. The system. You know that triple option, no matter what, is still going to produce its yards. It's still going to control the clock. That's going to be the issue here tonight. Because you know Navy's going to be able to move the ball up and down the floor, up and down the field against Florida Atlantic. The question is Navy going to be able to outscore them and stop Florida Atlantic to cover that 9.5 to 10 point spread on the road? I don't think so. I lean a little toward Florida Atlantic. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. But again, I just think it's a game you can't touch. I mean, why would you want to bet on that game? Boston College in Northern Illinois. You got a Boston College team that's more physical. It's a better defensive team. But Boston College has proven over the past couple of years it doesn't have a quarterback and can't score any points. But you're asking me to lay 3.5 points with Boston College on the road against a Northern Illinois team that, you tell me, how good are the Huskies? What can you tell me about the Huskies last year when they played 4 different quarterbacks because of injuries? Northern Illinois could be a good team if they have a settled situation at quarterback and they can move the ball. I don't know. How do you handicap that damn game? Colorado and Colorado State, the big showdown, right? It's being played in Denver. I told you after winning with Colorado State, I'm glad Colorado State won. They made us all money. Colorado State is not that good. Defensively, they still have a ton of problems. Keep in mind, they won that game 58-27, right? Last week at home against Oregon State. That was a closer than expected game in the first half before Oregon State's JUCO quarterback turned it over a couple times early in the third quarter to allow Colorado State to start pulling away. Otherwise, the Beavers, who aren't any good, they had converted 10 of 16 on third downs in that game. They averaged 5 yards a carry on the ground. They had 333 yards of the offense in the first half of that game. 5 turnovers did in Oregon State in that game. Colorado last year, the key to Colorado's success was a defense that was a top 20 defense in the nation. But that defense just was ripped apart by graduation, lost its top 8 players from a year ago, but they're going to reload as well, okay? And the question with Colorado, they got a new quarterback, and Steven Montez, a sophomore with a big arm, but he's got his top 9 receivers back. Montez saw significant action late last season because of injuries. They've got Philip Lindsay, their small running back, who's very productive back. It's going to be an interesting game. And Colorado State's not playing at home, not playing in its brand new home stadium for the first time. It's not playing a weakling from the Pac-12 like Oregon State was. I think this is a competitive game. And Colorado, 3.5, I think it's a fair price. I don't think Colorado State wins this game. I think it's going to go over as well. I'd lean a little toward Colorado. Again, I don't read too much into Colorado State's win last week against Oregon State. And this is a guy who told you to bet the house on Colorado State last week. So again, of all the college football tonight, I still think the Wisconsin game is the best one if I had to personally play one of these games. But I'm not a fan of any of them. Let me give you a complimentary play in baseball. I like the Yankees plus $1.15 on the run line tonight with Sonny Gray on the hill against the Red Sox and Doug Fister. Gray's coming off his best outing again as a member of the Yankees against Seattle on Saturday, in which he allowed 1 run and 3 hits in 7 innings. That was his 6th start in pinstripes. His last 11 starts overall, going back to when he was still wearing an Oakland A's uniform, he has a 1.95 earned run average. Doug Fister going for the Red Sox, who are 4.5 games back now. 4.5 games ahead of the Yankees in the AL East after losing last night in the series opener 6-2. Red Sox have dropped 5 of their last 8 games. Problem with the Red Sox, of course, in this series and all season long against the Yankees is they simply have not produced with runners in scoring position. 0 for 10 last night. And in the season series, the Red Sox, a 154 average with runners in scoring position. That's how good the Yankees have pitched against them this year. So I'm willing to go ahead and take a shot with Sonny Gray and the Yankees on the run line tonight as your complimentary baseball play. That'll do it, guys, and we'll do this again tomorrow.